Good morning. My name is Constable Adam Kimber with the Hamilton Police Service. Thanks for being here today. We're providing an update today on the homicide of 26-year-old Belinda Sarkodie. And at this time, I'd like to invite Chief Frank Bergen to speak. Chief.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Adam, and thank you very much for the media for being on top of this story since the 11th of July. It's a great day for Hamilton, and it's a great day for Hamilton because, again, we can give you some positive news today, and I'll leave that up for the Detective Staff Sergeant Obrovac to do that. It's a good day, though, to also reflect on the challenges that we have as a community, and those communities are absolutely affected by the brazen disregard of, I guess, what is a human right to carry on our active day. To think of July the 11th and arguably the busiest intersection of our city, at the intersection of James Street and King, steps away from an art crawl where thousands of people were gathering that afternoon to enjoy the great culture and the great things that we have in the beautiful city of Hamilton. And a young punk thinks it's okay and thinks they're entitled enough to show up on a scooter and take the life of a 26-year-old young girl, Belinda, from Ghana. Yesterday it gave me great pleasure to call the Consul General of Ghana, who has been in this building twice since that event, to talk about the interest of a community miles and oceans away that sends a young girl here to have a better life in the city of Hamilton. So this is a conversation in a watershed moment to understand that in a year that can celebrate good police work that has resulted in only 31 shootings year to date, after a year in 2024 of 60 shootings, talks about the efficacy of our involvement to the shooting response team, the incredible work of a homicide unit, but also the many hours of work and dedication to keep this city safe by countless numbers of the men and women of this organization. I could not be more proud. Of that. But we also have to recognize and acknowledge that the trajectory of youth violence in this community is unacceptable. If the 12-year-olds and the 14-year-olds, and in this case the 17-year-old, feels it okay to bring out a gun in the afternoon amongst hundreds of people to settle a dispute or to try to be tougher than the next person, then we got a problem. So today we can celebrate some good news and an update that our community has been thirsty for, but we have to reflect on the untimely death in April of Harsimrat up on Upper James. And the most common things with Harsimrat and Belinda is they were just going about their normal day. They were in fact linked to an HSR bus, and they were just doing what we expect a 21-year-old and a 26-year-old to do. As a city, as a community, as a service, this is a time when we have to stand up. Mums and dads, brothers and sisters, and all of you have partnerships in our community. Call it out. You know what's going on. You understand what these kids are doing. Call it out. As a community, this isn't acceptable. Today we can celebrate great police work, but we cannot rest on our laurels. Today we have to make sure that we can do things differently tomorrow. With such pride in our organization, I call upon Detective Staff Sergeant John Obrovac to give an update on the Belinda Sarkodie homicide.
Good morning. Thank you, Chief. As mentioned earlier, Belinda had been in the downtown core spending time with a friend. Tragically, she was struck by a bullet intended for someone else. Following the incident, Hamilton Police quickly identified the suspect and took steps to notify the public. Yesterday afternoon, a young person wanted in connection with Belinda's murder turned himself in to police. He has been arrested and is now facing charges related to this investigation. Because this matter involves a young person, we are prohibited under the Youth Criminal Justice Act from releasing any identifying information, including the individual's name or any details that could lead to their identification. We want to thank the public for their cooperation, as well as the officers and community partners who worked diligently on this case. We also want to acknowledge, of course, the Sarkodie family. They have suffered an unimaginable loss, and our thoughts remain with them as they continue to navigate this incredibly difficult time. Our victim services team is working closely with the family to ensure they have the support, resources, and care they need. We ask the community to keep them in their thoughts and to offer the family the privacy and compassion they deserve. As this matter is now before the court, the details we can share are limited. Further updates will be provided when appropriate. Having said that, I'd be happy to take some questions.
Can you say what charges this young person is facing?
It's attempted murder times 2 and second-degree murder.
Can you say anything about the circumstances of his arrest? Were you expecting him to come in? Like, did they call first, or did he show up unexpectedly?
We were contacted in advance, yes.
Do you know where he's been these last 4 months?
I can't comment on that.
Do you believe that he was in Hamilton?
I can't comment on that.
Do you believe that he was being helped by any individuals?
That's not something I can comment on, but if anybody has any information, we would obviously be investigating that.
Are you investigating anybody for accessory?
Not at this moment, but we would take any information.
Can you say anything about, at the time of the shooting, we know that there was also a man in his 20s who was injured, who was among a group of men who were the targets. Do you have any more clarity about whether it was one person in that particular group who was the target, multiple people, what the motive for the shooting was?
Unfortunately, due to the limited cooperation from those people, we don't have anything more in terms of motive.
Can you explain why it's 2 attempted murder charges? One is in relation to the man in his 20s who was shot, and the other is in relation to one of the other people in the group?
Yes, that's exactly.
Can you say anything to what the chief just referred to there, that he was riding a scooter?
Yes, I can say that.
Can you say anything?
He was riding a scooter when it happened.
Chief, can you comment, great work, by the way, by your police service and your homicide squad. Can you comment briefly on perhaps addressing the root causes, why we're seeing so many kids feeling so brazen, and maybe touch on the Criminal Justice Act? Is that being effective, or would you, as a leader, like to see some changes going forward?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. And again, I'm not going to be the one that can speak articulately about the root causes of this. But I can tell you that 3 weeks ago, I was so pleased that putting a call out for some decision makers in our community, we were able to get directors of 2 school boards, the John Howard Society, the Banyan, the two representatives of our Children's Aid Society, the Probation and Parole, as well as the YMCA. Sitting in a room for a couple hours, having a conversation about what are we collectively going to do about what we're seeing with the 9-year-old, 10-year-old, 11-year-olds. And that, I understand, is not covered within the 12 to 18-year-old definition of the YCGA. But we also had the luxury in this city, because we actually are standing up and asking for answers. I've been very quick to be someone who says that I don't feel comfortable when people talk about bail reform. It's not a matter about reform, it's about a matter of everybody adhering to what the criminal code allows us to do. But we also have to shift from what is okay for the accused and actually have a conversation is what is okay for the victim. What about the residual effects of this thing? So it's not about reform, it's about everybody doing their job. So it's not a comment that we're going to get into and unpack the fact that if we have a young offender or we have other offenders that are repeatedly disregarding the conditions of release, conditionally, and the recidivism that we're seeing with respect to violence, the drug use, etc., and the drug distributions in our community of people who have been through the court system not once, twice, but multiple times. We've invested heavily, as I said earlier, in our shooting response team response. And we work closely with our investigative team and everybody within our service. We believe that the responses are best meted out when they're whole of service. But in fact, if we have one partner at the table who doesn't understand the impact of the loss of Belinda, of Har Simrat, and those many others in our community, then we're just a fool's errand. We need everybody to understand that it's everybody's responsibility. We're proud to say our moniker is Together, Stronger, Safer. And this is an example, again, that we can demonstrate as a community that we can absolutely make this the community that has always said it's a place to raise a child and to age gracefully. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have you used the weapon?
We have not.
Do you know from the ballistics at the scene whether there's any connections to other shootings?
There's no information I have to suggest it's connected to any other shootings.
Can you comment at all just on the extent of police work that went into this arrest? I know that there were a number of search warrants executed initially in the days after the homicide, right? I know this was a lot of work.
Yes, I can tell you that there was a relentless effort to pursue this individual once he was identified. I can tell you that everybody in the service did everything they possibly could. There was no resource spared. We had support from the top down the entire time, and no doubt those efforts is what led to the person contacting us and saying enough is enough and we're not going to stop.
Have you informed Belinda's family?
I have, yes.
What was that like to, after 4 months, to be able to tell them that you finally caught them?
I mean, as you can understand, this is not anything that is going to help bring Belinda back. It's a good first step in bringing justice, but you know, their family has been unimaginably shaken by this, as everybody could understand. So probably a little piece of something that would help them, but nothing to make it right.
Is he appearing in court today? He was arrested, it was yesterday that he turned himself in?
Yes,
What station did he turn himself in?
he came down here.
To Central.
Yes, to Central. Thank you very much.
That will conclude today's news conference. Thank you very much.